Alright, today for Study Skills, since it is Friday, we're going I'm just going to talk to you a few minutes about some study tips. Because the bottom line is your study habits are going to determine, how successful you be, especially in school. And if you want to be truly successful, you have to do good in school as well. Even when I talk to athletes, to go to college now, okay, you have to have a certain GPA, that's grade point average, and you have to score a certain score on the college entrance exam. Okay, so now in college, they're not taking just anybody anymore. They want students that have the ability to be able to graduate on time. So they're selective in who they choose. Even the athletes, these guys are graduating now. Okay, a lot of them are graduating. Even the ones that stay 1 year, those are guys that are really, they work hard, and these guys are educated. I told y'all about Derek Favors. This guy went to Georgia Tech for 1 year, but he was intelligent. He was very intelligent. In order for him to get to Georgia Tech, Georgia Tech just don't take anybody. So, in order for you to reach that level of success that you desire, one of the things that we're going to have to get in the habit of doing, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to have to develop some better study habits. Okay? Now, everyone wants to get better, right? Everyone wants to do good in life, because I hear that all the time. When I talk to people, they always say, I want to get better. I wish I could change my attitude. I wish I could make better grades. Okay? I wish I could have a better job. Okay? That's what I hear people say that all the time. They want to be better. But here's the kicker. Only very few people are willing to do what it takes, though, to get better. Okay? Because to get better, sometimes you have to change the way that you do things. Okay? Sometimes you have to change some of your ways. Okay? And not a whole lot of people are willing to do the change that it takes to get better. Because remember, I hear people say that all the time. Coach Wortham, I want a better job. Coach Wortham, I want to be better. Coach Wortham, help me. Be able to deal with my wife. Help me. Be able to deal with basketball. I want to be better. I hear those things all the time. But when it comes to doing the work, very few people want to do the work. And that's why you don't see, that's why only a select few are successful. It has nothing to do with their ability. It has nothing to do with how smart and intelligent they are. It's just those select few people understand that I have to change, I have to work, and it's going to take a lot of those things for me to get to where I want to be. So we're going to talk about these habits. Again, you have to develop good study habits. Okay, if you're going to be a good student, you have to develop good study habits. All right? You got to be focused on what's in front of you and not what's behind you. That's why when we get in the line, what am I saying now?
Look forward.
Face forward. Why do I say face forward?
Because success is forward, not backwards.
Success is forward. And again, I see too many people that's trying to go forward by looking back. And there's too many things that you can run into when you're looking back trying to move forward. It's almost impossible. If I'm doing this and I'm trying to go this way, what's bound to happen, Caleb?
You bump into something.
I'm about to run into something. Okay? Because it's too difficult for me to go forward while at the same time I'm looking back here. Okay, so some people will say, Coach, you don't know what I'm going through. Okay, look, everybody in this life have to face something. Okay, our president is facing something, even though he's acting arrogant and acting like nothing is going on, he's facing something. So everybody in this life goes through some type of challenges. And the thing that we have to do is we can't let those challenges become crutches that we lean on, and then we can't be able to get back up and move on ourselves. Okay, so we're going to have to make sure that we're always focusing where? In our line. When we go somewhere, we want to go
Forward.
We want to go this way. We want to be focused here. We got to have a clear path to where we're going, because if I'm looking and the obstacle is in the way, what can I do?
You bump into it.
But if I'm looking though, what can I do?
You can move.
I can go around it. Okay? You know, or if I'm looking and I see the obstacle, I can maneuver my way around it some kind of way. Okay? And sometimes it takes more work than other times, but if I can see it, I can what? You was going to say it? Nathaniel? I can what? Yeah, I can make a way to get around it, through it. You know, I can always make a way if I can see it. But if I can't see it, I can't. Okay? So, I can't go around my past. My past. I have to forget about what happened in the past. Some terrible things happened to a lot of us. Okay? Terrible things have happened to a lot of us. But we can't keep looking back this way, trying to go forward. Alright? So, now, this is what I want you to do. When studying, okay, because you have to study, it's not an option, it's a must. It's not an option, it's just like food. You have to have food and water. Studying is the same way. If you want to be successful, you have to study. So, the first thing I want you to do when studying, I want you to test yourself a lot. What does that mean? That means that I want you,
Test yourself means like you have to like do stuff for yourself, and you have to try to mix it up and try to do different things, and yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Try that you follow directions and be nice to other people, and when the teacher's talking.
Okay. Okay. Now hold on. When I say test yourself, this is really what I mean a lot. You want to, as you're studying, you want to make sure that you want to make sure that you have somebody asking you questions. Okay? Like if you're doing decimals, you want to make sure that you have somebody, you want to make sure that you have people asking you questions about those decimals. Okay? And you want to test yourself all the time. Okay? You want to say, hey, can you give me a problem that I can work out? Okay, hey, can you ask me these spelling words so I can learn them? Hey, can you give me a question about the sales? Okay, that's what you want to do. You want to test yourself a lot. Okay, and number 2, you want to space out your practices over time. Okay, because what I would do if I was you is when I first get home, before I play, before I go outside or anything, I would go find me a spot to where I can do my homework. Because that's all homework is practice. Homework is nothing but study tips. Okay? Study. That's why the teacher gives you homework, because we want you to study and practice the concepts that we have taught earlier in that day. Okay? Yes, Jen?
Yeah, but testing yourself, I never got a chance.
Okay, testing yourself, yes.
You gotta follow the teacher's directions, not be rude to the teacher, and do not talk what the teacher's talking, listen what they have to say, and do your homework.
Okay, and again, like I said, when you're testing yourself, you're asking yourself questions, you're having somebody else to ask you questions, so you can learn the materials, okay? And again, number 2 is you want to space out your practicing, because you want to do one when you get home, LaKayla, when you first get home, and then you want to do another one. You want to kind of like look over your notes right before you go to bed, because if you do it right before you go to bed, you're going to remember a lot more, okay? Sometimes we dream about those last things that we had on our mind, so that's why we want to do it right before we go to bed. 3, we want to mix up what we're studying, okay? Because, you know, you don't want to just study math because you have 4 subjects. You want to study some math, a little bit of math, a few minutes on writing, a few minutes on social studies, a few minutes on science. Okay, we want to, because we want to make sure that we're well-rounded. Okay, because we want to make A's and B's on each subject, right? Okay, we don't want to make an A in math and then we got a D over here in social studies. Okay, that don't look good. I don't want to make a A right here in language arts and then I got 3 D's in the other subject, because it doesn't look good. So we want to make sure that we space it out to where we, you know, dealing with all the subjects that we have. Okay. Number 4, you always want to ask yourself why and how. Why and how. This is how, when you want to go to that next level to where you're really learning, man, that's what you do. You ask yourself how and why question. Why is this like that? How did it get like that? Because you have to figure out how and why. And most of the time that figuring out is just like I said earlier. Everybody want to be better, but only a few people are willing to do the work that it takes. And that's the same way when you ask yourself why and how. When you ask why and how question, it makes you go into other areas to find out the why and the how. Okay? And now you're going from memorizing, because it's easy to memorize. That's what a lot of us did coming up. We memorize stuff, but you want to go to the area where you're actually learning and know it, where you actually know the information. Because if you know it, you can come out here and you can talk about it. Okay? That's basically what we're doing, man, because when this is what most school systems have done. They go to business people, some of the top companies in the country. They went to them and they say, what are some of the qualities that you want out of these students that we're producing and graduating out of high school? What are some of the qualities? They say we want critical thinkers, we want problem solvers, and we want people that can collaborate. Those 3 things. You got to be able to work with the team, you got to be able to problem solve, and you got to be able to think critically. Those are the 3 skills. So everything, when Georgia makes up its standards, guess what they're making it off of? Those 3 things that these high corporations say they want to see. Okay? So that's why we got that, that's why we got these ways that we're writing. You remember the RAP? You know, we have this acronym RAP when you're writing something or when you're reading something, right? Okay? All of these things are because of those 3 things that businesses, companies say they want to have. Critical thinkers are people that go beyond the basic information that they have. They think critically. They think a little bit deeper. Problem solvers are people that can understand how to do things. Those are people, when I say getting you confident enough to where you're not raising your hands all the time, and you're not wanting me to be right there up under you all the time to help you with your work. See, that's what companies want. They want problem solvers. People that can go and find the information that they need. Okay? You guys are the information, you're the information world. You come up, you were born in a world of information. Okay, but a lot of you don't know how to go get it. So you got a lot of benefits in that. And the last thing, study in different places. Now, we used to say, or that's what I used to say, go find your quiet place. But because how times are now, sometimes you have to learn how to study in different environments. Okay? Especially you guys, because sometimes, if you like me, when I was coming up, we was moving all over Atlanta. Okay, so I couldn't just get one spot because we didn't know. We probably moved the next couple of months, and that spot wouldn't be available. So you want to get yourself in a habit of learning how to study in different areas. Okay, if you're a basketball player, you have to get some studying in before practice, because sometimes we had late practice. We had a girls team and a boys team, and we're not like Gwinnett County. I like Gwinnett County. Gwinnett County has a girls gym and a boys gym, or they call it a main gym and an auxiliary gym. See, I like that. But in Henry County, we just have one gym. So the girls and the boys had to work it out. I would, one day they would practice right after school. Then we would practice at 5:30. Okay, the next day they would practice. You had to work it out. They would practice late and we would practice early. So the time before practice, guess what some of my guys were doing? They were in study hall getting some work done. Okay? So you want to learn how to get your stuff done in different places, especially if you're an athlete, Caleb. Especially because football players, man, they travel all the time. They go, they might be in Kentucky one day and they're in New York the next day. But that work is still due. When they go to classes, man, that work is still due. They have to play during final exam sometimes. Final exam. So just because you're traveling don't mean that that test is still not due. So you have to learn how to study and get it done in different places. Okay? That's helping you to be a better college student. And that's what I'm assuming that everybody does. Okay? And that's how I'm going to teach you. Life, I'm assuming you're going to college. Okay? That's the only way I know how to do it. That's the only way I know how to do it. Gotcha. Thank you, timekeeper. Thank you. But that's the thing. We have to do this. Again, everybody I talk to want to be better, want to make their life better, want a better job, want a better marriage. Okay? Everybody I talk to. I don't even talk to a whole lot of people that say they don't want to do better. But when it comes to what it takes to be better, that's the work that you got to put in. Only a handful of people are willing to do the work that it takes. All right? And so we have to change. We got to be willing to get better. We got to be willing to do some work. All right? And I'm here to tell you, you're not going to get there if you don't work. Last thing, like I told that student, remember, I told him when he was in the 6th grade, Darius, this guy was very talented. He wanted to write cartoons, animation. That's what he wanted to do, and he had the ability, but he was lazy. Okay, he didn't want to work hard. And he told me, he said, that's what I want to do. I said, but Darius, you know what? When I see your work habits and your effort, man, you're going to end up working at Walmart somewhere. Now, I'm not saying Walmart is a bad place to work, but I'm just saying that if you want to have a better life, you need to get you a career. Okay, so we need to be shooting for, being doctors, lawyers, business people, okay, politicians, because we need a lot of stuff straightened out in our country. So we need to shoot for those high level things, okay, so that we can empower people, come back and empower people, come back and empower our communities, come back and get. That's what we need to be shooting for. Okay? And we're not going to reach those things unless we shoot high. And I told Darius, I said, look, that's what's going to end up, man. I mean, you're capable of more than that, but your work ethic shows me that you're going to end up working somewhere like Walmart. Okay? And I just told y'all a couple of months ago, I go to the Walmart over where I live, and guess who I see? Darius. And he tried to hide from me, you know, because he knew I had made that statement. So he goes running in the store, and I just come in the store and I walk intentionally the same way I saw him go. And I spot him and I say, look, D, you don't have to run from me, man. You know, you still can make it. You're a young man. You just 21 years old. Man, you still got a long way to go. But you have to remember, Darius, the only reason I said that is because your work ethic. I saw that you didn't like the work. Okay, you didn't like to you didn't like to grind and put in that work that it takes to be successful. That's the only reason I said that. All you have to do is you got to change now. And now the last time I seen him, you know, he said, Coach, I'm working hard now, man. I'm trying to move myself up, want to be supervisor and all that kind of stuff. Okay? So, in order for us to get better, we have to have better habits of studying, because we won't get there unless we study. All right? Thank you, Caleb.